Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're well. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your Mercury retrograde reading. Mercury retrograde is the ideal time for us to pause and review where we are in life. So we're going to use tarot today and this all of my little cue cards here for the new spread that I created to see how we can get you realigned onto your path during Mercury retrograde. So when the planet goes direct, you will be exactly where you need to be. Keep in mind, it is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means that it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, let's begin. Tapping into the Gemini collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card message here for the Gemini collective for Mercury retrograde? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. And your message, taking shelter, the answers are within. It always gives me the feeling of the hermit holding the lantern there. The bottom of the deck, we have rejuvenating rain. Clear the past, heal the present. Okay, let's get into tarot now. This is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We are clarifying the anchor. Where do you need to pause? The loop. What patterns are you repeating? The insight. What past is resurfacing to heal? The filter. What boundary needs to be created? The pivot. How to prepare for Mercury direct. And the return. Who or what may return? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The anchor, clarified by the Six of Wands. The loop, clarified by the Tower. The insight, clarified by the Star. The filter, clarified by the Seven of Swords. The pivot, clarified by the Page of Wands. And the return, clarified by the Queen of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Pentacles. All right, let's clarify now. We're using the After Tarot deck. If you're not familiar with this deck, the images are slightly different. It does alter the meaning of the cards, and we'll go through them as necessary in your reading today. For Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements, we're clarifying the anchor, Six of Wands, the loop, the Tower, the insight, the Star, the filter, the Seven of Swords, the pivot, the Page of Wands, the return, the Queen of Wands. For the Gemini collective, let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Wands, clarified by the Emperor. The loop, the Tower, clarified by the Page of Pentacles. The insight, the Star, clarified by the Four of Pentacles. The filter, the Seven of Swords, clarified by the Queen of Cups. The pivot, the Page of Wands, clarified by the Three of Pentacles. And the return, the Queen of Wands, clarified by the Ace of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. Okay. Gemini, the anchor, where do you need to pause? There's something here about ego. If it's not your reading, don't be offended. These messages are intended to help you grow and expand, and we're going to clarify, so we'll see where we go. I don't know if the Emperor is a particular person or an aspect of yourself, but where you need to pause here, there's something here, the Emperor to the Six of Wands. This is the involvement in situations, environments, or connections that kind of stroke our ego or make us feel good or make us feel wanted or make us feel selected or maybe even keep us in the public eye or help us to portray a particular image of ourselves that may not be authentically who we are. The loop. What patterns are we repeating? It seems like the same lesson here is trying to be taught over and over again. The universe comes in with the Tower and shakes us up and says, hey, Gemini, you got to look at this. There's a lesson here to learn. And you're like, no, I don't know about that. Because in the After Tarot deck, I'm taking this individual standing here as like the universe, handing you the pentacle. Like, here, you graduated, learn this. And you're like, no, I don't think so. I think I might want to do this again. The insight. What past is resurfacing to heal? The Star to the Four of Pentacles. Something here is occurring during Mercury retrograde that makes you realize that staying consistently in whatever this pattern is, it's sort of a block to where you want to be or where you need to be, or it is a block to your wish fulfillment. I say that because in the After Tarot deck, the Four of Pentacles, which I call the Miser card in regular tarot, because they're like holding on to their Four of Pentacles, it's met with the Scorpionic energy of the Grim Reaper. So something here will occur during Mercury retrograde to give you some insight that says, yeah, you know what? This pattern that I keep holding on to that has something here to do with that Emperor to the Six of Wands is actually preventing me from getting to wish fulfillment or my destiny. The filter, what boundary needs to be created? Seven of Swords to the Queen of Cups. There's a new way on how to do something. Maybe there's something here that you haven't been seeing or some type of self-sabotaging behavior. Again, we're going to clarify this more. The pivot, how to prepare for Mercury direct. Finally, learning the lesson, seeing this for what it is, and then putting something new, like now working on something new or doing something a different way, or maybe even planning for something new in the future. The return, who or what may return during this time? Queen of Wands to the Ace of Wands, and we'll see who or what that is in a second. So let's begin to clarify. Let's clarify that Six of Wands to the Emperor. This is the anchor. Where do you need to pause? I feel like this is going to be a very specific message. So again, like if it's not yours, just check another placement or write it out till the end of the reading and see maybe there's at least something here that you can take from this message. One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Wands to the Emperor is clarified by the Five of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups. So there's something here that we continue to engage in because, again, it makes our ego feel good, or it presents us a certain way publicly in that Six of Wands. But at the core of it, it's actually not emotionally fulfilling, and it's not reciprocal in nature. It's like it takes a lot of effort to put on this facade or to engage with whomever or whatever this is. And I feel like your higher self knows that there's something better out there for you. But with that Two of Swords, it's like, but I don't want to make that decision because once I make that decision, then I have to walk away from blank. Let's keep going with this message. The Emperor. Clarify the Emperor. This could also be like, I need to portray myself to my inner circle or the world even at large that I am very successful, right? The Emperor is the king of all kings. And I can't make any decisions that would be contrary to that. So I could be speaking to a Gemini where maybe in your everyday life or what you post on social media, you sort of present yourself in your life as the Emperor to the Six of Wands. Like, all is well here. Look, this is the food that I just had. This is where I'm going. Or again, maybe in your everyday life, you're like involved in a lot of different things. So you have created this image for yourself that might not actually be who you are. Maybe at the end of the day, when you're sitting back, you're actually Five of Cups to the Six of Pentacles. You're feeling a bit depleted or a bit empty. So the world sees you one way. The world sees you as the Emperor to the Six of Wands, where you're successful and you're happy and you're the king of all kings or the queen of all queens of your life. And then there are people out there that like they wish they could be you, but they really don't know the shadow side. And the shadow side is that in your quiet time, you're actually not happy with maybe who you are or all that you have or all that you do. The Emperor. Clarify the Emperor here. We have the Chariot. We have the Three of Swords. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So there's something here of I constantly have to move forward and move forward and move forward. Like, this is what they expect of me. Why did I just hear that? This is what they expect of me. I have to keep going. And even though it's emotionally displeasing to me, I have to keep repairing myself and I just have to keep going. I have to keep going because I'm the Emperor and the Six of Wands. I'm the one who gets things done. This is the way the world sees me. This is how you have portrayed yourself, to be quite honest. I mean, at some point in time, there was a little ego here at play where it made you feel good to run and fix this and do this and be the person that everyone leans on and everyone calls. So at some point in time, you participated in creating this image, if you will, or this version of yourself, because there was a little ego at play. I feel like this is a back then type of thing. Like, I don't think I'm speaking to a Gemini, even if you're still continuing to participate. this way in the world, or like interact with people around you this way, I don't think you no longer do it for ego. Now you do it because now I'm obligated as the emperor. Like now I have to keep up appearances. Now I can't say no when someone calls me. I can't admit to people I don't really want to be part of this group, or I don't really like this job. So it could, you're going to have to take the messages how they resonate to you. I feel at some point in time when you started doing what this is, it was coming from a place of ego, and you enjoyed the accolades that you received from people. And now it's like, now I have to keep up that image. Now I can't say no. Now I can't change. People have this idealized version of me. And if they only knew just how sad and miserable I was at the end of the day. So there's something here of like seeing the truth of yourself. The Queen of Pentacles in the After Tarot deck is looking at that pentacle, but seeing the reflection. She can actually see her reflection in that pentacle. So it's almost like a sad feeling, because I don't think the world sees you this way. I think the world sees you as the Emperor and the Six of Wands. I think the world sees you as the Emperor and the Six of Wands and always on the go. And oh, look, Gemini got hit with something, but that Three of Swords in the After Tarot deck is healed. So it's like Gemini bounces right back. Gemini is always there, and they can always get things done. I think you have portrayed an image that at some point in time began in ego, but now it's like just keeping up these appearances, that you are rock solid and you're steady. But again, I feel like when you look at your own reflection or you look inward, I think there's a sad Gemini here. I think there's a sad Gemini here that the world does not see. And that's what you need to pause on, because you're not living authentically. The version of you inside who you are today is very different than the Emperor and the Six of Wands. And this is the loop that you keep doing, like keeping up these appearances, or continuing to give, and you don't know how to say no. You don't want to say no. If I say no, they might not look at me anymore like I'm the Emperor and the Six of Wands. The Tower. Clarify the Tower. What pattern are you repeating? Clarify the Tower. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Tower is clarified by the Nine of Cups, the Strength card, and the Ten of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Cups. I feel like the universe is continually coming in and creating these towers, trying to force you into an ending, trying to force you to finally say, no, I can't do this anymore. Or no, you know what? I know that I went to school, and I know that I've been an accountant for 30 years, and everyone sees me as the successful. I'm just going to use that as an example. You extrapolate it how it applies to your life. But this would be like a Gemini who, you went to school, you went to college, you have a degree, you are some certified accountant, maybe you have your own firm. The whole world sees you as a very successful accountant. And so you get up every day and you continue to be an accountant. But at the end of the day, when you get home, you're like, I really hate being an accountant. I wish I could be a sous chef. I wish I could be a tarot reader. I wish I could do anything other than accounting. And so every now and then at work, you get hit with a tower. You lose a big client. There's a shakeup at work, something like that. It's to try to get you to go, you know what? This is bullshit. Like, I don't want to do this job anymore. I want to change this job. But yet you don't learn the lesson, and you don't look for another job, or you don't, actually engage in what you would like to do for a living. And so the next day you just wake up and you go right back to the accounting firm. And this could be applied to anything. This could be applied to maybe a relationship. I could be speaking to a Gemini where your inner circle or the world, and maybe it's through things that you say or do, or the image that you portray, or what is posted online, they think you're in a very happy marriage. Emperor to the Six of Wands. That's like, oh my God, dream partnership there. And you guys go out on the town, and you're always lovey-dovey, and everyone thinks you're so perfect with the house and the dog, running around the driveway, and the chickens in the backyard. And meanwhile, it's a hollow existence. You're alone, you're detached from your person, and it's like if the world only knew. And every now and then, maybe the marriage has a crisis. Ten of Swords to the Tower. Maybe you step out of it. Maybe they step out of it. Maybe there's a really bad fight or argument. And that's supposed to be that breaking moment where you go, you know what, I can't do this anymore. But you don't. You wake up tomorrow, and you get in the kitchen, and I don't know, you make scrambled eggs for you and your spouse. So there's something here that you're engaging in, situation, environment, or connection. I think in the buildup of it, there was something egoic, or you like the image that it portrayed. And now, after all this time has passed, could be days, weeks, months, maybe even years or decades for some of you, it's no longer emotionally fulfilling. And every now and then, the universe drops a tower moment on you to go, hey, Gemini, we haven't forgot about you. That is not where you need to be. And you're like, but I'm going to stay. And not to make your reading about me, but I can see it as this house. I mean, I finally got the wake up call this past winter. Like that, the Tower to the Ten of Swords was it for me. But when I went through my separation 6 years ago, I left a marital home. I had purchased this home right before the divorce with my own money. It was an investment property. I was just going to fix it up. It's an old 1860 home. I got it very cheap, very inexpensive. And I thought, well, I could fix it up and rent it. And I could start building up, a nice retirement nest egg for myself. And thankfully, that when the tenant left, I didn't, fill the apartment on the second floor. So when I left him, this is where I came. This house has been nothing but a money pit for me for 6 years. Now I'm very grateful that I had a place where to go, post separation, post divorce, and I'm glad that I was able to save the money all those years before and be able to buy it. But the house is a money pit. I mean, this winter I was barely sleeping 3 hours a night because the furnace crapped out on me. I don't have the money to replace the furnace. So I have all these electric heaters. My electricity bill was running at about $2,000 a month. At the height of winter in January, there was a $3,800 bill. I could not believe it. This house just bleeds. I mean, it just bleeds. And in the basement, every 2 hours at night, I had to wake up and go downstairs and check that propane tank because I had a propane blower on the water pipes to make sure they don't freeze. And I was like, you know what? Thank you, universe. I needed this. I needed like the worst winter in this house to realize I have to sell the house. This is the year. I need to fix up a little here and there, what I can do, what I can afford, and I need to sell the house. So that was my wake up call. But to the world around me, and I'm not ashamed to share this with you. I'm sure a lot of people were like, "Wow, Jen must be doing really well. She bought that house. She got a divorce. She's been fixing up the house." People don't see the struggle. People don't see me sitting up here at the end of the day in that Five of Cups, going, "Oh my God, this is like another expense I can't afford." Six of Pentacles, this is another breakdown in this house. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from to fix. So it's being able to be honest with myself here and telling other people, I really can't afford this house. I can't do it. I'm struggling, and I don't care how you see me. I'm not the Emperor and the Six of Wands. And so there's something like this in your life, situation, environment, or connection that you continue to feed, continue to show up for, continue to invest in that no longer serves you. And every now and then the world, the universe hits you with the tower and you're like, well, I'm just going to try to, make do. I'm going to white knuckle this and I'm going to stay here. Page of Pentacles, not learning that lesson. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Pentacles, clarified by the Six of Cups and the After Tarot deck. We keep going back to the situation, environment, or connection, as opposed to moving on from it. The Strength card and the Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Two of Pentacles. Whether there's another person here involved or not, we keep returning to that because it is familiar. It is a familiar version of ourselves. And it's a little scary to change your environment or change your job after 30 years or leave a marriage that is no longer supportive, or finally tell your family who's always so dependent on you to do everything, to finally tell them, I can't do it. I don't have the time for you, or I don't have the money for you. I just don't have the patience anymore. There's some way that we are showing up that the realization is we don't want to do this anymore, but yet we continue to engage in, I'll call it the pattern. The insight, something's going to happen. Oh God, I can't afford another breakdown in this house. The past will resurface here to get you to look at this, okay? And it's going to occur during Mercury retrograde. It's going to make you realize, if I keep example, again, use myself as an example so then you can apply it to your life. If I keep investing in this house, that money that I keep putting into this house, I could be socking away to buy a better house. I could be saving it. So I feel like something here is going to happen and go, I can't keep doing this anymore. Situation, environment, or connection. The anchor is no longer an anchor. In the beginning, it was an anchor, right? Think about an anchor when you're out at sea and you just want to kind of stay still. You don't want to keep moving. You want to feel solid. You want to feel grounded to the earth. The anchor is a good thing. But what happens when your life needs to move on and the storms come in? The world, the universe keeps hitting you with that tower. It's like it's time to go. And you're like, but I can't move because I'm anchored. So I feel something here is going to occur again and make you realize that that anchor, what you think is safe, or the image you portrayed of yourself has been like safe and secure, isn't really so safe and secure. It's actually an albatross. It's not an anchor. It's preventing you from moving forward towards wish fulfillment. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The star is clarified by the Ace of Wands. Everything it says is the truth. Ace of Swords, double truth there. And the Fool. Bottom of the deck, Three of Pentacles. Something here is going to occur during Mercury retrograde that's going to open your eyes and give you that push. Okay, now I don't know if it's a creative idea. It's a spark of genius. That's quite possible. We now have Uranus in our sign, and it'll be there till 2033. So this might be just a realization where you wake up one day and you go, I don't want to be here anymore. What do I need to donate? What do I need to sell? What do I need to get rid of? How quickly can I get the house on the market? It's the morning where you wake up and you look over at your spouse and you're like, you finally have that 15 seconds of insane courage. You're pouring the pot of coffee and you're like, I want a divorce. That's what this feels. This feels like instant insight, even if maybe you don't say it in that moment, but it's the instant realization to you, I need to get out of this. It's going to work one day and looking around and going, if I woke up 10 years from now and I was still having to come to this office and sit at this desk, I would be completely miserable. I wouldn't want to do it. So there's something here. Like I said, there's a download, a creative idea, a spark of courage in that Ace of Wands that becomes your truth that says, I need a new beginning. And this doesn't work anymore. I need to let go of this, or I need to change this. Four of Pentacles. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles. One more shuffle. For some of you, it could be this reading. Queen of Swords. Judgment. And the Ten of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, the Tower. I would expect the Tower here during Mercury retrograde. Something will occur. Again, going to use myself as an example. Maybe something else does break down in the house and it's like, oh, shit, I can't do this. I'm working with a realtor out of state to look at different properties. Maybe during Mercury retrograde, she contacts me and says, I found the perfect house for you. It's well within your budget. It works with your time frame. It's a friend of mine, but they're not going to sell for 6 months, and that'll give you time to do what you have to do in New Jersey. There's something like that here. I don't feel like it's a devastating tower. This seems to be more like a shakeup that causes you to, like, it could be like a dream, and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. It could be a conversation you have with someone. It could be you seeing something online or talking to someone and you see what they're doing with their life and you're like, oh my God, I could do that too. They're older than I am and they're doing it. So there's something like this. It could be a download, like I said, a download, a thought, a dream, a creative spark of inspiration, a conversation you have with another person. You see them doing something in their life and you're like, I could do that too. It could even be something you see on TV or online. There's something like that here occurring. And it makes you make the judgment call that says, there's more out there. I'm holding on to something that at the end of the day is the Five of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles. I want the Ten of Pentacles. So there's some type of realization here that you have. And like I said, maybe for some of you, it's a conversation that you have with someone else. The filter, what boundary now will need to be created? That aha epiphany moment or that conversation, something like that is going to create a tower. See, the tower in this deck is still standing. It's fractured, but it's not this. This is total catastrophe. Like in here, it's still slightly connected. I think that's why you're able to, like, oh, I'm just going to put that top back right on there and we're going to just continue to stay in this. This is completely broken. So this completely changes. Oh, right behind that, Eight of Cups. Whatever occurs here, information, communication, download, it's going to give you the final push. Okay. Seven of Swords. I think you're going to see where you have been limiting yourself or not being authentic to yourself, where you have been sabotaging yourself. Clarify the Seven of Swords. One more shuffle. That taking shelter card in the beginning, when I said it reminds me of the Hermit and it has the star, That's your wish fulfillment. This is what you're going to move towards. That tower is going to make you realize that the shelter, something here that you have in your life that is like structured and solid and stable, is not for you. It's not. It's going to clear the past or give you the realization that you need to clear the past and move forward. Seven of Swords is clarified by the Two of Wands, the decision, the Nine of Swords, and Judgment. You got Judgment here twice. Three of Pentacles. And that's just happens to be your next card. I love tarot so much. So there's a judgment call here that needs to be made. That decision that you've been putting off because you're nervous about it. Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is Mars in Gemini. So there's a realization here that the only thing that has been keeping me trapped here is me. I can leave at any time. And now I'm going to take action. And now I'm giving considerable thought. Mars is action. Gemini is Mercury. So we're thinking. It's a realization of I have been sabotaging myself. I've been allowing doubts, fears, and anxieties to keep me tethered or stuck into this anchor that I think provides me with security and safety, but really does not. It has actually stopped me from being able to move forward. And so the judgment call you make here is I have been sabotaging myself. That's the filter. It's like the rose-colored glasses come off. You can no longer blame the spouse, the house, the Facebook community, whatever group you're in, the job, the industry. This is looking inward. This is saying, I've been keeping myself stuck here for all the wrong reasons. Queen of Cups. Tell me about that Queen of Cups. In the After Tarot deck, the Queen of Cups lifts the lid off the chalice and finally gets to look inside. So I feel like this is you looking inward and you realizing that you are in the Five of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, because you put yourself there and you continue to keep yourself there. This is self-realization here. This is Two of Wands here. This is Dorothy at the end of The Wizard of Oz when she realizes all she had to do was click her heels. The power was within her all along. There were fears, doubts, and insecurities that kept her tethered to something or someone or some image that she outgrew a long, long time ago. Two of Wands. Seven of Pentacles and the Moon. Bottom of the deck, the Five of Wands. So almost giving me the feeling it's a very light, dark night of the soul. It's a very quiet going within, taking that lid off the chalice, looking within and saying, it's time for me to make a different decision and plant a seed in a new direction. The Moon. I don't know if planting that seed in that new direction will give me the situation, environment, or connection that I'm longing for. But I know that I have been here and this isn't where I want to be. It's a realization I need to take a gamble. Like life is short. I need to go after that star card because what I'm currently doing or engaging in isn't getting me any closer to the star. The pivot now is how to prepare to come out of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury goes into retrograde June 29th, comes out July 23rd. We are currently in pre-shadow, which at the time of this reading, which began on June 12th. Post-shadow is going to take us to August 3rd, okay? So between now and August 3rd, this is a time for you to begin discovering ways on how you can basically build your way out of this. The situation, the environment, the connection that you have been stuck to because it's a comfort zone. Clarify that Page of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Wands clarified by Ace of Cups. Everything I said is the truth. You have 3 of the 4 aces on the table, Gemini. Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. You now have all 4. Get out of here. Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups. You will create a plan. Mark my words, you may not believe it now at the time of this reading, but between now and August 3rd, you're going to create a rock-solid plan on how to get out of whatever this is. And look, you may be like me. It might take you 6 months, a year and a half to be able to sell the house, but you're creating the plan. Creating the plan, ordering the dumpster, already started boxing stuff up, already make the plan. And I think that's what many of you will be doing now. And it could be going back to school, learning a new skill, starting to save your money, throwing stuff out, having a difficult conversation with your spouse that you no longer want to be in this connection. 3 of Pentacles. You're going to start working here on a new foundation, a new tower, your tower, the tower for the new you. One more shuffle. Thank you. Three of Pentacles, again, Eight of Cups to the Eight of Cups. Tower again, and Temperance. You're going to change your entire life during Mercury retrograde just by making this decision and starting to create this plan. It doesn't mean that you wake up on August 4th, the day after Mercury goes to, comes out of post shadow and is fully direct. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know, I'm in Florida now on the beach. And no, and I make $100,000 a year. No, it's not going to happen overnight. But the realization here is this is the pivot. So this is, I know for certain within me, I'm not going to stay here. That's it. It's not even a promise to myself. It's an absolute. I am not going to stay here in this situation, environment, or connection, and I'm actively making plans to move on from it. The return. Who or what may return? Queen of Wands to the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands to the Ace of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Queen of Wands is clarified by Eight of Swords, that Five of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune. Ace of Wands. Tell me about the Ace of Wands. We'll take it. Take it. Okay. Eight of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck, the Devil. If you don't do this, okay, if this tower comes in, this download, realization, shake-up, conversation, burst of inspiration, okay, if this occurs and you end up doing nothing, when Mercury goes direct, you're going to be right back to where you were. Eight of Swords, Five of Pentacles, King of Cups. Pouring yourself, your emotions, your energy, your love, your devotion into a situation, environment, or connection, or a house that at the end of the day, when you sit back, Eight of Swords to the Five of Pentacles, you feel completely depleted in, emotionally or financially. And that brilliant spark of the Ace of Wands just sort of fades away. Eight of Pentacles, we go back to the grind. We go back to the job. We stay in the house. We stay in the relationship. We continue to portray ourselves as the false emperor. Knight of Wands, we just get up and go, go, go. Got to be there at 9. Got to be there at 2. This person needs me at 5. Nothing changes here. And then Page of Wands to the Page of Wands. Next Mercury retrograde, because here you are, this Mercury retrograde, Page of Wands. Next Mercury retrograde, which we'll have a third one at the end of the year, you're going to be in the exact same spot. The cycle will continue. You'll have another tower moment during the next Mercury retrograde. It's going to be another shakeup for you to get out of here. You will have another opportunity to create the plan to get out. Or you may choose to repeat the cycle. And next year, it's going to happen all over again. Every Mercury retrograde, this starts happening. Let's get into some oracle cards, and we'll close it out with some kippers. So nothing changes if you don't change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So I would expect a tower here. I think it's an intellectual tower, which I like, because again, it's going to keep that beautiful cerebral mind of yours going. But you could quiet the thoughts. You're a Gemini, you're the sign of duality, and you might in one moment really like the idea and the next moment totally kill it. And in that case, you can't be upset when you wake up at the next Mercury retrograde and you're still doing this loop and you still got that anchor, which is really like an albatross wrapped around your neck. It's not an anchor when it's wrapped around your neck. Or you can save yourself the future towers, be honest with yourself about whatever or whomever this is, and use the next, period of time now between now and August 3rd to create the plan to get out of it. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Oracle cards here for Gemini. Vision. Innovation. Told you. Brave heart. Bottom of the deck, inspiration. Gemini. Vision. Look to the future with foresight and make wise choices. When the tower moment happens, and like I said, this doesn't appear to be a bad tower moment. okay? Not as bad as what you've had in the past, but it's significant enough to you. It's supposed to get you to think outside of the box. It's supposed to get you to look at your life 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. If nothing changed with this situation, environment, or connection, and you woke up 5, 10, 20 years from now, and it was exactly the same as it is today, would you be happy that you stayed? Lean into your opposite sign of Sagittarius and think expansively. See yourself out there in the future. Would I be glad if I stay in this house? Could I wake up 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years from now and be happy that I stayed? And I spent, $12,000 every year just to heat the home. Would I be happy? Would I be able to sustain that 20 years from now when I'm older and not making the income I make now? Can you wake up 20 years from now next to that person in that loveless, empty relationship where you are rejected or neglected or left in want? Would you be happy? Big vision here, Gemini, and then innovate. Boldly experiment and open yourself up to new possibilities. That's all you have to do is say, I'm going to do it. When, again, the realization, the conversation, the download here occurs, or you're witnessing something or someone doing what you want to do, will you become innovative? Will you think of creative ways on how to get out of this? Brave heart. Face the world with fearlessness, breaking through all the boundaries with courage. It takes a lot to say, I have been existing in this and I'm not really happy. Another quick example. When I never told anyone how miserable my marriage was. I told one friend about 10 months. I was sitting pretty quiet at the lawn of a local restaurant early in the morning, having a cup of coffee with Kyle. And he was like, what's the matter? He's like, Jay, you look so sad today. And I looked right at him and I said, Kyle, if nothing changes in my marriage, I'm probably going to leave it within the next year. And he was like, oh, I thought you guys were so happy. Everyone thought we were so happy. We were the show couple. Not to sound obnoxious, but that's what we were. We live in a very small town. Everyone knew us. We were very public, okay? Very emperor, empress, six of wands type of public figures here in this town. And there were moments where we would pull up to a restaurant and he would tap me on the knee and say, showtime. Because we knew that when we got home, we were going in separate directions. He was going to his room. I was going to mine. I mean, at that point in the marriage, we weren't even sleeping together anymore. But to the community, to keep up that public facade, it was, he's the best husband ever. It was all those Facebook posts. Happy anniversary to the best husband a woman could ever ask for. At that point, I hadn't received an anniversary gift in probably 10 years. Best husband ever. Best wife ever. It took a lot of bravery to shatter that illusion that I helped to create. I don't know why I feel someone watching this needs to hear that. But I'm living more authentically now than I ever have. And so is Tony. We're both now in relationships where we're actually happy. And we don't have to fake it. We're happy. And we have our ups and downs with our, our new person. But I'm way happier in this than I was in that. Now, if I could just sell this house, I'd be ecstatic. Let's get 6 Kipper cards here for Gemini. 2 cards for the top row, 2 cards for the middle, 2 cards for the last row. Okay. Mature man sort of came out on the side, but I'm going to keep him up, right? You could be mature man, you could be mature woman. Based on your experience with this situation, changes on the side. Nothing changes if you don't change. Nothing will change here. You can continue to stay in something that is very stagnant, very stale. Or you're very mature at this, whatever this is for you, Gemini. You have a lot of experience. You're also growing old in it. You're losing time. Staying in something that no longer fulfilling. 2 cards here for the middle row. We have poverty. We have unexpected income. And on the side is despair. Bottom of the deck, adjudication. This is like judgment. So you basically have 3 judgment cards now on the table. This is the unexpected epiphany download, okay? Gift from the universe, conversation with the person that says, I don't have to sit in this anymore. This place where this is mediocrity. This is not what it should be. Poverty. I'm better off 5 of Pentacling it. I'm better off abandoning this. This is the realization. I think I'm staying in something that is structured or solid or stable. I'm actually choosing to stay in lack, emotional or financial. It's the unexpected realization. The anchor has become the albatross. 2 cards here for the final row. Okay, we'll take it. Did we have any other flippers here? No. Okay. Bottom of the deck, sudden wealth. Now, on the sides, what do we have here? Thoughts and adjudication. Boy, that judgment card just loves you today. So I think you're going to give considerable thought to this during Mercury retrograde. That first adjudication is the honest conversation with yourself that this isn't working and you want more for yourself. You want better for yourself. And then it looks like you're giving considerable thought here as you're slowly coming out of Mercury retrograde to say, how am I going to change my life moving forward? Sudden wealth, child, courtship, imprisonment. There's something about this contractual obligation. It could be marital. It could be how society views you. It certainly can be investment. It could be job. It is now a jail cell, and you're realizing it. If I continue to court whatever this is, person, place, or thing, I am choosing to imprison myself. I'm choosing that. Birth, sudden wealth. It's this feeling of I can create, I can empress this, I can birth or create a new life for myself. I can launch my own business. I can change career paths. I can get out of this marriage. I can leave this town. I can sell this house. It's a sudden epiphany of feeling like a child again and realizing the rest of my life has yet to happen. And I'm not going to spend it doing what I've done up until this point. Wheel of Fortune to the devil looking right at me, so I have to make mention of it. This is choosing that this is the time, the divine time with the Chariot card to move forward towards my manifestations, to actually actively co-create with the universe, not just say, oh, I wish I could have that one day, but to actually make it happen. Devil in the After Tarot deck is unshackling, unchaining ourselves from the public image, or the situation, environment, or connection that has kept us trapped. In the After Tarot deck, these people are free. The 8 of Swords, which I love, is another Gemini card. We are free. We are setting ourselves free from this. And the 7 of Cups, we are leaving the 6 cups on the shelf, the familiar, to go with the new, to go with that new Ace of Cups here. And your final card here at the bottom, which I love, look at that 4 of Pentacles, what you've been holding on to, 6 of Pentacles in the After Tarot deck, you're walking away from it. So is this all happening in Mercury retrograde? Nope. But your epiphany moment, your realization is, and the plan now is starting to build. If you don't do this, like I said, I'm not a fear-mongering tarot reader, but if you don't do this, you'll be exactly where you are today. And that's okay. You get to choose those loops, and you get to choose how often, how much of your life you're going to spend in the loop. But for those of you willing to make the change, your life will be drastically different 1 year from today, because you took the insight that the towers created here, or will be creating for you relatively soon. And then you'll be able to create this plan to extricate yourself from whatever this is, or from whomever this is. Yeah, finally cutting off the chains from whatever this is that has binded you to a life or a lifestyle, or a way of just doing life that no longer serves you, and finally being free. That is what I have for you, Gemini. It's quite the powerful message. I expected nothing less from you. We just had a new moon in your sign, and this is your ruling planet in retrograde. So this could very well be a huge epiphany wake-up call for you to change your life for the better. And I hope you do just that. That is what I have for you, Gemini. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.